Welcome to Sex and the Solo Girl. Join your host, her inner circle, and expert guests weekly for chats about dating, secure attachment, the solo lifestyle, doing relationships differently, and of course, sex. And here's your host, Janice Formicella.
Hello. Welcome to Sex and the Solo Girl with Janice Formicella. I am so excited that you are here and so excited to be launching a brand new podcast. I have a lot in store for you. I've been waiting to do this show and wanting to do this show for a very long time. All year, in fact. And as many things that are important and worth it, getting things off the ground has taken a lot more time and love and planning than I ever imagined. And I know that it is worth it. This is going to be so awesome. A huge thank you to anyone who has been following me ongoing and waiting for this. I know I have been building this up for a while. I just appreciate your patience and your support and just all of it. And for those of you who are new to me and my content, hello. I am looking forward to getting to know you and you knowing me. I would just love to connect on Instagram at Janice Formicella and let me know that you've discovered the show, maybe what you think. And yes, I know my name is a beautiful Italian name that might be hard to spell. All of it's in the show notes. I have so much juicy content for you. And I'd like to let you know a little bit about your host, as I will be sharing a lot of personal content as I go along. I am a dating, single living, and breakup coach. I am also the host of the podcast Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. That podcast is a resource library for those who are healing from a broken heart, navigating things after a breakup, kind of thinking about what's next. I am very, very passionate about supporting people to learn from their breakups and use them as an opportunity for a fresh start. I absolutely love doing the podcast and will be continuing to produce it at the same time as Sex and the Solo Girl. Ooh, and I've also just released a new ebook on the 3-step method for healing a broken heart. That link is also in the show notes. I decided to start a second podcast as I've started to offer new types of coaching and expand my areas of expertise. I am part of what we refer to as the solo community, meaning that I don't subscribe to many of the societal expectations around relationships, and I wholeheartedly feel complete and whole without a relationship. As such, I have a lot of experience about thriving as a single person and would like to help others love it as well. This process really starts to become exhilarating after the healing journey from the breakup kind of ends or winds down. And so this is where my single living support comes in. But don't be mistaken, I do date. I have very, very meaningful and passionate relationships, and I will touch on this quite a bit on the podcast. Another of my interests and areas of support is attachment theory. I know that we all have attachment tendencies. What I believe is missing from the current discussion around the concept is that we are all capable of moving from an insecure attachment to a secure one. I have done it myself. And it has meant absolute freedom for me when it comes to connecting with people. I now support people who wish to move to being securely attached, and I will include a lot of content about how to do it. And And I am also studying sexology and sex coaching and believe in the power of sex and physical intimacy for portals to expansion in so many areas of life. Plus, I simply like to talk about sex. So there will be a lot of that on the show. It is called Sex and the Solo Girl, after all, right? If any of this sounds useful to you and you'd like to talk about my coaching, skip on into the show notes and hit me up using the contact info. Besides my complete and utter love for coaching and the coaching process and working with people, there are a few other things that inform what and how I present my content and that are also quite unique about me. First off, I was raised in the Mormon church and am now very public and open about living as an ex-Mormon. Leaving a high-demand religion has taught me a lot. It has made me a person who is unapologetic about living my authentic self and has also made me very strong. I really enjoy talking about my experience, and I currently run a large support network for other ex-Mormons here in Denver. And also shout out to Denver. Absolutely love living here. I really enjoy talking about my experience with the church and welcome you to reach out if you have questions or if I can support you on your faith transition journey. I am also a survivor of domestic violence, and while I won't speak to that much now, it is something I've been trying to be more open about, and it is also something that has molded me into the woman I am today, into the person who presents this podcast, and it was one of the reasons I eventually became a breakup coach. One more thing that I will mention is that I am non-monogamous. This is a fully inclusive show for people who have all different types of relationships, absolutely including monogamous. But what I will say about my experience with non-monogamy is that it has provided me a lot of opportunity to learn about myself, my flaws, my highlights. It's taught me about excellent communication. It's definitely taught me about being securely attached and so much more. So this will be an occasional theme on the show, and I think that everyone will benefit from what I have to say about it. Is there anything else that you'd like to know about me? Just reach out. This podcast is going to be a lot of fun. I have always been interested in audio because I truly love to talk and I love to connect with people through conversations. I am lucky to have incredibly wise and talented coaches and experts as good friends, and I will have them on the show a lot. My first episodes will be about dating, kink, communication, the erotic blue, and relationships, all with people from my network. Also, stay tuned with interviews with experts, some of which you might just be familiar with. I will also be having fun discussing news stories having to do with all of the topics, especially, of course, sex. Ooh, and once in a while, I do what's called happy hour episodes where I come on with my good friends to roast rom-coms and various movies. My first one is going to be with my friend Brian, and we are going to be roasting When Harry Met Sally. Tune in for those. They are really, really fun, definitely hilarious. If you have a movie you'd like me to roast, just let me know. My episodes are backed by research, science, and expertise. They are created to be as useful as possible to everyone, regardless of sex, gender, relationship status, and more. Well, that's a bit about me and the show. I would absolutely love to hear from you. What would you like me to cover here? And do you have a breakup, dating, relationship, or sex question that you would like me to answer on the show? Just send me a DM or an email, and I absolutely will. I answer each and every message that I get, so don't be shy. And with that, thank you for being here and enjoy Sex and the Solo Girl with Janice Formicella. I am passionate about the opportunity that a breakup gives us for a fresh start, but it can sure be hard to see that when you're heartbroken, right? I have worked with people all around the world to beat their breakups with my own 3-part process. I've created an ebook that guides readers through each step using practical advice straight from an experienced breakup coach. Click on the link at the top of the show notes and get your copy of the Broken Heart Repair Kit, the 3-step method for beating your breakup, at my special Sex and the Solo Girl release price of just $24.99. And remember, you've got this.
Thank you for listening to Sex and the Solo Girl with Janice Formicella, the podcast for those who want to add more flavor to their relationships with themselves and others. If you liked today's episode, make sure to head over to Instagram and let her know. See you next week.